We are here showcasing rural communities in British Columbia, Port McNeill being one of them. As we know, the government has put forth a deferral of 2.6 million hectares, and without doing proper consultation, without doing a socio-economic impact, it is very much a forestry community. So we've gathered here today with forestry dependent people, forestry families, just to kind of showcase and say, hey, we are here and we matter.
We're going to suffer as their utopia is created at our expense. Their utopia doesn't include you loggers, doesn't include miners, it doesn't include fish farmers, doesn't include oil patch workers, and it doesn't include cattle feedlots because those cows put off a lot of gas.
This is one of many pop-up rallies?
Yeah, there's been a number up and down the island. There was going to be one at the legislature, but due to the floods, that was cancelled. So I participated in the one in Campbell River because I had to take a necessary trip down, and I'm here to support the folks in Port McNeill.
The whole idea of logging the old growth is to make room for the second growth, which is a whole lot easier to handle. And it's easier to mill uniform size wood. In the 1990s, the NDP was in power and they put aside land for parks. I did a little ciphering with my pen a few evenings last spring. And according to my calculations, they put enough land aside for parks from Cape Scott to Seneca River that would allow 100 of you loggers to work for 72 years, and then they'd be able to stand and continue with the second growth. But that's not good enough for the NDP. They don't want any old growth logging.
What does this mean to you today?
It means everything. The government talks about transitioning, and we say transition to what? This is a renewable, sustainable resource, and right now it's getting kicked pretty hard.
Some people expect that loggers should switch their hats from logging to tourism. So trade in a $33 an hour job that you get 10 months a year at for a $17 an hour job where you get 3 months, maybe 90 days, sometimes 60.
What does this mean to Port McNeill in general, if it goes through?
Well, we don't know exactly yet. We're still, I know companies are analyzing the data and they don't know exactly which areas are going to be affected. But if we use a strike for an example, it could be devastating.
Our forest industry right now, today, is strong and sustainable. But it will not be when a government looks out for the non-government environmental groups and acts on their behalf and not on our interests. What we require is for the government of this province to hear us and to retract their green ideas. Those ideas are emotional based. The government should allow the plan that's been in existence for over 100 years, and that's to log the old growth and then log the second growth in its turn.
Is there anything you want to say that no one's been asking?
That's the problem. No one's been asking. So I guess what we would say is you've rushed 300 pages, over 300 pages of legislation and trying to make a radical shift in the forest industry overnight. And we're asking for you to please put a pause. We're asking the provincial government to put a pause on it and engage, and let's do this in a thoughtful, methodical way so that there can be the least consequences as possible to people who are employed in the forest industry. Over 300 pages of rushed legislation without input from stakeholders is a socio-economic experiment we have no interest in participating in. We are here to tell the province, the NDP, to hit a pause so we can get this right. We are not statistics. We are men and women with families to support or businesses that serve our communities to run. We are volunteer firefighters, coaches, and community builders. We don't want to be reduced to a number on a stat sheet. We want to be part of the solution, and we are tired of being reactionary. Know that your Port McNeill Council is advocating on your behalf. Mayors from Port Hardy, Gold River, Sayward, Campbell River are all working to amplify your voices. We have valuable knowledge to share. Indigenous people have managed this land for thousands of years. We have a lot to learn from each other and a lot that we can offer, but only if we are given the opportunity to contribute. That's what we are asking for today. These rallies are intended to bang on the door of government and say, before you make rushed, massive legislative changes, give us a chance to be a part of the solution. We want to be a part of the solution. We believe that there can be a balance between the ecosystem and the economy, and we are ready to do the hard work to find that balance we can all live with.